Hey, good evening, happy Sunday. Depending on where you are, good evening, good night. We're excited. We are back with the Vent NightCap for 2025. If you've never been on the Vent NightCap, the nightcap is a space for us to decompress, to relax, to reset during the night for the next day, to learn how to unwind, maybe even do a brain dump before we go to bed so that we can get not just rest, but quality rest, as well as very practical tips on how to rest in the morning, in the evening, throughout the day, depending on what your work schedule is. It may be resting and finding micro rest at night, but the goal is for us to really just learn how to rest. Many of us have the ability to go, but we haven't learned how to properly rest, how to properly take care of ourselves, practice self-care versus self-maintenance, and things of that nature. So we're here as a community to learn how to rest, to learn how to unwind, decompress, not just as a way to even just sleep well, but to go about our day more productive. And that doesn't mean getting more things done, but more productively in ways of taking care of our own self mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, so that we're able to show up completely and not just as parts of ourselves, as well as we're able to function throughout the day. So we also have the Vent Live. So the Vent Live is the time that we come together. We have community conversations. We really are able to share our stories, share advice. The difference in the nightcap is one, the nightcap is only 10 to 15 minutes, right? And where the Vent Live is about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. And the nightcap really is for us to take that time to intentionally unwind. So welcome in. If you've never been here, we're excited for you to be with us. If you have been in before or you're here regularly, we are excited for you to be with us. Again, tonight is short, just how we are able to rest, to decompress, and to take care of ourselves. Hey, Carl, thanks for coming on. I always appreciate community conversation. So the same thing like the Vent Live. If you're on here, we want you to let us know what works for you or what hasn't worked for you. Share with us your experiences, how you rest, how you decompress, how you take care of you, so that we can, in community, maybe pick up on some things that you've done or steer away from some things that you've tried and it didn't work. So we want to know all of it. We want all the tea. So tonight's episode, as we're in now 2025, right? It's a new year. A lot of times we're super excited about all that is to come. We set goals, we have high expectations, and that's great. We also have to know how to pace ourselves, how to take care of ourselves so that those big goals aren't fading off when it gets to February, March, April, May, so that we're not overwhelmed by what we're trying to accomplish, because we know that we can do it. It's just how we get there without exhaustion, without overexerting, and without taking care of ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally. So tonight's episode or tonight's conversation is New Year, New Balance. So you may have heard New Year, New Me, or New Year, New Goals. Tonight, our focus on the Vent Nightcap is New Year, New Balance. So again, we've talked about this. Many of us are going. We're on the hustle. We got things to do, and that's great. We also, in that space, part of our productivity is taking care of ourselves. So that's resting, that is eating, that is drinking water, that is giving ourselves breaks when it's necessary. And these aren't things that are a luxury or things that we can take for granted. These are things that we literally need. These are all necessities. So our challenge tonight, our goal tonight, what we really want to charge ourselves with tonight is finding the balance of going after our goals, setting those goals, and taking care of ourselves so that we're not burnt out, so that we are not overwhelmed, so that we're not exhausted or overexerting ourselves. So there's space for both. We don't have to choose either or. You don't have to trade off rest for productivity. You don't have to trade off sleep to get things done. You don't have to, right? Some things may influence us too, but you don't have to. So let's talk about it. The first thing is the power of rest. So rest is very powerful, whether we have looked at it in that way or not. The power of rest. Rest helps us to recharge. You ever had a day where you were just tired and you took like a 20-minute? Why do you think they call them power naps? because that 20 minutes refreshes you. It gets your cognitive flow back going. It kicks back in. Like, this is scientifically proven, right? It kicks back in so that you're able to be more imaginative. It kicks back in so that you're able to be more creative, because there is power in rest. So rest is a type of productivity because it allows your body to rebalance, to do things so that you're able to push forward, but not without rest. Here's what Trisha Hersey says. Again, she's the NAP bishop. We mention her a lot. We quote her a lot. But one of her things and her whole movement is about taking time and rest as resistance, and really taking time to resist what everybody else may be doing, what capitalism may be telling you to do, what people may be telling you to do, and really take care of you, because they're so valuable. So here's what she says. We cannot build from a place of exhaustion. We need to rest so that we can show up fully in every area of our lives. Hey, Danielle. So here's the thing. You ever try to do something, and you don't have to put it in the comments because I ain't gonna put your business out here. But have you ever tried to get a task done and you were just so tired and you were just so worn out, and you have been up or you have been doing things all day or all night or all week or all month, and when you try to do something, a lot of the times it takes longer for you to do it. Why? Because you're tired. You've been driving on a long road trip, and it's like that last hour is the longest. You pull over, you get a nap, or you pull over, you get some coffee or something to give you some energy, and it feels like it's taking longer, often because when we're operating out of exhaustion, it takes longer because you're trying to put in more effort, you're trying to do more, and your body is telling you, I need a break. But we continue to push, and it actually makes us work harder. It actually takes more time. It actually is more difficult when we try to build from exhaustion. You're not as creative. You're not thinking as logically. You ever done something like, I can't believe I just did that? And you say, you know what? I'm tired. That's why, right? Your body is literally, when you get into those moments, right? I want us to have an awareness. So think about it next time you may find yourself in this moment, because we're not perfect. So we're going to be back in that space at some point, but we're working to lessen that. So next time you find yourself in that moment, and we're going to talk about this actually in a little bit, listen to your body. If your body's telling me, hey, I don't have the capacity to do this anymore, take a break. It's not saying give up on the dream or give up on what you're pushing towards, but it is saying there's power in you stepping away. And we talked about this before, right? When you step away from something and you come back, something sparks, because you literally, something that happens in your brain when you give it a pause, when you give it a rest, right? I don't know all the big words and biology behind it, but there's something that happens in your brain after you rest and you pause that allows it to, now your creative and your imagination and even your memory to remember where things were, right? You lost your keys, you paused and stopped looking, and you went back and you found them, right? You were trying to remember something, you started doing something else, washing dishes or doing something else, and then it popped back in. Why? Because you gave yourself a break. So your brain was able to say, okay, yes, I can recall the information now. I just needed a little break and I just needed a reset. So it is difficult to rebuild or to build when you are just exhausted, tired, not able to have the capacity to move forward. When your body tells you that, when your mind tells you that, when your spirit tells you that, rest and recharge. Rest, like she says, like the Nat Bishop says, we need to rest so that we can show up fully in every area of our lives. And the same thing with this, showing up fully. A lot of times we're present physically, our mind isn't there, right? Emotionally, we're not attached to the moment. Somebody could be just talking and sharing things with us, and we haven't heard anything, because while we're there, we showed up in a sense. We're not fully there. We're not fully present. We're not listening. We're not in the moment. And this is the consequences of that is, one, you ain't heard nothing they said, right? That's one. Two, this now affecting our relationship. So I wanted to share something with you, but you didn't listen last time. So I don't know if I want to share with you right now, right? So it starts to affect other parts of us, where the people that we care about, the people we do life with, the people that we have influence over, or the people that influence us are now looking at us like, hey, are you here? Right? I see you here, but you're not really participating in what's going on. And all of us have had those moments. So I'm not calling you out. I'm just saying we have those moments. So what we want to do is learn how to rest, take a break so that we can show up fully and be the very best us, not just for the benefit of others, but being the very best us that we can be. How do we do that? So very practical. How do we do that in our everyday lives? How do we do that on the job? How do we do that with family? How do we do that with the people that we love? How do we do that with our employees or employer? How do we do that in our ministries? Schedule rest periods. So the same way we schedule vacations, the same way you schedule meetings, the same way you schedule appointments, the same way you schedule when you're going to get your hair done, when you're going to go get lunch, the same way you schedule and plan out your day, schedule rest periods. I hear a lot of people say, if it's not on my calendar, it won't happen. So put rest on your calendar because if it's not on your calendar, it won't happen. And how do we do that? Schedule rest periods. I'm going to work for an hour. I'm going to work for 2 hours. Then I'm going to take a 10-minute break. I'm going to do this Monday through Wednesday. Thursday is my rest day, right? It may be time blocks throughout your day. It may be certain days where I'm blocking this off. So Thursday, I don't take phone calls. I don't schedule meetings. It's my day to take care of me. It's the day I go get my massage. It's the day I stay home in my pajamas and I watch movies. Whatever it is for you, this is my day. Schedule it, because once it's on the schedule, it's taking up that time block and nothing else can interfere. If we stay disciplined, right? Nothing else will interfere with that. How else do we do that? A little bit different than scheduling rest periods are creating boundaries. What does that look like? Hey, you may have texted me an hour ago. I'm working on something. So I'm not going to stop my flow. I'm not going to stop what I'm currently working on to respond to your text message or to call you back. Right? A lot of people say, I got to go on Do Not Disturb. Again, depending on your personality, depending on your vocation, that may work a little bit differently, but there have to be some type of boundaries. If you say, I cannot work on weekends, or I don't do Sundays, or Monday is my rest day, you have to create the boundary to say, this is my rest day. So if you tell people Sunday is my rest day, but then you start accepting meetings, you now cross your own boundary and you've allowed other people to do it. So as long as we allow other people to do it, they can keep doing it because you've broken your own boundary and you've broken your own things that you put into place so that you can have rest, or you can have family time, or you can have, whatever time that is for you. So create boundaries between 9 and 12, or after 8 o'clock, I don't answer phone calls, right? After 5 o'clock, I don't schedule meetings. On Mondays, whatever that looks like for you, very practically, very simply, make sure not only you say it, not only do you put it on your calendar, but you actually enforce it. And for some of us, it may take longer than others, right? For some of us, we have learned the hard way or have to learn the hard way, but just sharing this with you, it does more benefit when you create boundaries, because boundaries not only prevent you from overexerting yourself, but they also protect you so that you're able to re-energize, refresh, so that when you do show up for the meeting, you do show up for the family, you're showing up fully. Slow down. Slow down. What does that mean? Listen to your body. If your body is telling me you're pushing me too far, and we all know, right, when our body is saying it, you can feel it, you can hear it, other people can tell it, they can see it on your face. You're dragging. It's harder for you to get out of the bed. You're not moving at the pace that you normally move. There are always signs. Like your body always, you are sniffing, you're coughing, you're sneezing, you are tired all the time. You go to bed and you wake up tired, which again means that you're resting, but you're not getting quality rest. You are, whatever your body, your body. So when your body starts showing these symptoms, your response is, okay, whoa, let me slow down. Slowing down may be, one, listening to your body. It may also be prioritizing. So I have 20 things to do. I have 50 things to do. What things need to be done immediately? What things can wait? What things should not even be on the list, right? Because some things sound good. Then when you go back and really think about it, it's like, okay, maybe not now, or maybe we just table that, right? And then the last thing, you listen to your body, right? So similar to slow down, but listening to your body is also, you understand that your body needs water. You understand that your body needs sunlight. You understand that your body needs time to recharge. You understand that maybe for some of us, we need to cut the lights off when we go to sleep. We may need to cut the TV off when we're resting. We may need to, you listen to your body saying, hey, I need some water. Hey, My face is breaking out. What does that mean? Am I stressed? Am I eating? Have I been on the go and I'm eating too much junk food or too many greasy things? You listen to your body and you spot the changes. And that can also be in a positive way, right? Since I've changed my diet, my body is showing me that, oh, I operate so much better, right? Because mind, body, spirit, all of that is connected. So when I eat more vegetables or I eat more fruit or I drink more water, I actually feel better and I rest better than when I'm eating maybe junk food or fried food. Whatever the case may be, we want to be intentional about scheduling rest periods, about creating boundaries, about slowing down, and about listening to our body and not ignoring it. Because the longer that you ignore it, just like anything else, things fester, it gets worse, it can have greater consequences, right? It's like almost like when you forget to pay a bill and then the interest keeps going up and the penalties keep going up. Like at some point, you still gonna have to do it. So it's better to go ahead and get it done and take care of yourself now than have to deal with greater or worse consequences later. Because I don't know if y'all know this or not, but stress can literally take you out of here. So we want to act on it sooner than later as much as we can. There will always be stress, right? But how we respond to it and what we do with it really determines our quality of life. Here's the last thing: setting goals with intention. So not only do we see that there's power in rest, but as we set our goals, we need to set them with intention. So we're not just throwing things at the wall. We're not just hoping something and hoping that it comes through. We're not just spitting things out and like, oh, it'll just happen. We're actually being very intentional about what our goals are. What does that look like? Dr. Tamar Bryant, quoting her, setting goals that are deeply connected to our soul's purpose brings fulfillment. It's not about the destination. It's about the alignment of your actions with your essence. So that one was kind of long, but in a nutshell, what it's saying is we're not just setting goals for the sake of setting goals. So many of us may feel like I need to set a goal. And goal setting is great, but setting a goal just to say you set a goal does you a disservice, because one, it may not be connected with your purpose or where you're trying to go or whatever your end goal is or whatever you're shooting for. So it's not even about where you're going. It's about the alignment. So if these things work in alignment, if these things are the path that I'm seeking, if that's like me setting a goal and saying, I'm going to win the lottery tomorrow. That's a goal, right? But it may not be in line with my purpose. It may not be. I literally can't guarantee that. I can't take action to make that greater. I mean, I could buy more lottery tickets or something like that, right? But it's not really serving a purpose if it's not helping me fulfill something that I'm really like. My life's goal is not necessarily to win the lottery, but if I put something in motion where, oh, my life goal is to impact 1,000 people. That's something measurable. That's something that I can work towards. That's something that I even have some level of control over, right? I can set a goal. This week I'll help 50 people. Next week I'll help another 50 people. Whatever the goal may be, that's something that I can mark, something that I can measure. It's a SMART goal, right? Something that is actually achievable through work and through networking and different things like that. So not just setting goals to say, oh yeah, I set a goal. It's a new year. I have a goal, I'm checking a box. We're not just setting goals to check a box, but actually things that are in line with where we're trying to go. So what does that look like? How can we do that? Set meaningful, realistic goals. So I'm not going to ask you to put your goals in the chat, because for some people it may be more personal. It may be something that you are working towards and you're doing it, and you like to move in silence, or it's not something you want to blast to the world. And guess what? That's okay, right? But we do want to have some type of parameters, because again, we want to be realistic about what we're trying to do. We want to be able to measure what we're trying to do. We want to be able to be specific about what we're trying to do. And we want to be able to even set timetables to win. It's just being practical about it. So set meaningful, realistic goals. So the first thing we want to do, if we want to be intentional, is, does this goal align with where I'm trying to go? If I want to get a pay increase, if I want to start my own business, if I want to start my own ministry, if I want to grow my business or grow my ministry, is my goal realistic and meaningful? Or am I just saying something because that's what I'm supposed to do? So that's our first, even the first thing you want to consider as you're setting intentional goals. Is this really something I want to do? Or is this something I'm saying to check a box? Right? Because if it doesn't mean anything to you, not even halfway through, you're going to be done with it because you don't have a why. You don't have a reason. It's not realistic or even something that you want to attain. So what's the point? Right? We don't want to just check boxes. We want to move with purpose. The second thing, incorporate rest. Y'all knew it was coming. We're always going to talk about rest. Incorporate rest into your goals. So create milestones, stepping stones, goalposts. I want to impact 1,000 people. When I get to 20 people, that's a milestone. I'm going to take a day and just relax and enjoy that moment. I'm going to take myself to the movie. Whatever your thing may be. I'm going to sit, for me, I'm going to sit and have a cup of tea by the water, right? Because rest allows us to recharge. Rest allows us to reflect and see, even evaluate, okay, what could I have done better? What's a better method to do this? What are some other things I can incorporate? Who are some people that I can connect with and network with so that as I'm working towards 1,000, I'm not doing it by myself, right? I'm going to get a pay raise. How do I do that? Checking the benchmarks of getting closer to that goal. Celebrate small wins. A win is a win, right? We've all seen the meme, the GIF. A win is a win. So let's say I set the goal as 1,000 people. This week I helped 10. Right? Or this year, my goal was to get a 10% raise. I got 10%. I got 5%. A win is a win, right? Today, I'm going to rest for 30 minutes. Maybe I only got 15 minutes in. A win is a win. Today, I'm going to read 5 pages. You read 10 pages. A win is a win. So big or small, celebrate. Because many of us, we get excited for the big goal, but we don't pay attention or we don't celebrate the journey, right? It's not the destination necessarily, it's the journey of us getting to it. So celebrate the milestones, right? So maybe you didn't get the raise yet, but the position that you're in now was the position that you were praying for, hoping for, seeking 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. A win is a win. So we're working towards something, but let's not overlook and just accomplish things, check it off and keep going. Celebrate that moment because you deserve it. You worked hard to get where you are. You worked hard to persevere from where you were to where you are now. And you shouldn't take that like you have to big up yourself. If nobody else bigs you up, if nobody else is happy for you, you got to be happy for you. Look, I did this. It may have taken longer than you thought. It may not have went the way you thought, but you may not have even gotten all the way there. But you don't want to skip over the small wins, the steps on the way, the milestones, because they mean something. Without those steps, you wouldn't have gotten to where you are. We talked about this before. Like a dance routine is made up of steps. Without multiple steps, there's no routine. So those multiple steps help add up for you getting closer to your destination because of the journey that you're going along. Here's the last thing. You want to listen to your body. I'm not being funny, but you want to listen to your body with that as well. So what is your body saying to you? How is it communicating with you? Is it telling you that it needs to rest? Is it telling you that it can continue? Is it giving you, are you receiving, because you are resting, right, new downloads and new information and new goals and new ways of doing things, right? Listen to what it's saying to you, because again, our bodies have this way of, oh man, that was a good idea. Often we don't know where it comes from, but we could just be sitting on the couch, and because we've allowed our bodies to just rest and to just chill, we just get this spark of imagination. And we also don't want to overlook that, because our body is telling us, hey, this is what's next. This is where we're going. This is an idea. This may be a big idea, right? And we take action by breaking that big idea into small milestones and steps that we can take to get towards it without overwhelming ourselves. Here's our last thing. So the big picture is we want to set goals with intention, and we want to be intentional about rest. So we want to make sure our goals are in line with where we're trying to go. Anything that's outside of that, we don't even want to give it time. We don't even want to be wasting time on it. But we also, as we're achieving, working towards, have these big, great goals that we can do. We want to make sure that we are prioritizing taking care of ourselves. We want to prioritize taking care of ourselves. And that means that doesn't mean that you're lazy. It doesn't mean that you don't care. It doesn't mean that you can't accomplish things. It doesn't mean that you're incapable. It means that you recognize that rest is not a luxury. You recognize that rest is not optional. You recognize that rest doesn't mean that you are less than, but rest is something that you absolutely, positively, 100% need. And if you don't know how to do it, you're taking the small step to take the 5 minutes on Do Not Disturb, to take the 5 minutes throughout the day to just breathe, to sit in a car before you get involved with the people. You're taking that time because you really do need it. And I'm going to say this every week. I'm going to say this every day. You need the rest. You are not lazy. Your body needs time to recharge, to reset, to relax, to decompress. Take care of you. Just like with a workout, it has a warm-up period to wake your body out, but it also has a cool down period that's telling your body, okay, we've done this intense workout. It's now time to rest because it's necessary. All right. So here's our community affirmation. We say this every time again. If this is your first time on the Vent NightCap, if you've been here before, we say this every week. You can say it with me on the screen. You can type it in the comments. The big thing is rest is not lazy. Rest is powerful. I reclaim my time. So reclaim your time from capitalism. Take back your power by taking care of yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, and know that you're not lazy for taking the necessity of rest. I appreciate y'all. Remember, we'll be back tomorrow night, 8 p.m. for the Vent NightCap. We'll be back Tuesday night with our Vent live session. Again, we're talking this week about this month. Our series is Unstuck and Unstoppable. So we're no longer getting caught up in cycles. We're no longer reaching a ceiling and capping out, but we are finding very practical ways to push forward, to push through, and to push towards those things that we know we've been called to, we've been purposed for, and that we are going to accomplish, because we're not going to allow burnout, overworking, or our own minds to stop us from that. Unstuck and Unstoppable. We'll continue that conversation this Tuesday at 9 p.m. The Vent NightCap again will be Sundays through Thursday at 8 o'clock. And the Tuesday after Election Day, we have a special Vent NightCap. We have a special guest. Miss Mavis Rowe will be on, and we'll be talking about liberation, faith, and politics, and how those things work together, coincide, and how sometimes they butt heads. So let's talk about it. Again, thank you. Remember that rest is not lazy or a luxury, but it is a necessity. And I will see you tomorrow night for the Vent NightCap at 8 p.m. Eastern. Thank y'all for joining. Appreciate you. I will see you tomorrow night. Good night, everybody. Get some rest.